The cafe was unusually crowded that morning. The comforting aroma of fresh coffee mingled with the low hum of chatter and clinking mugs. At a corner table, however, the calm atmosphere was shattered by the piercing cries of a baby. Everyone's eyes turned toward the source, a tall, sharply dressed man in a crisp navy suit, rocking a stroller with visible panic in his eyes. He was none other than Daniel Carter, the young, notoriously private CEO whose face had graced Forbes just last month. But this morning, the man who could sign billion-dollar deals looked utterly powerless. His baby daughter, Lily, refused to stop crying. Her tiny fists clenched, her cheeks flushed, her cries echoing painfully across the cafe. Daniel's attempts to soothe her only made him look more desperate. At the counter, Emily, a waitress in her mid-20s, paused mid-step. She had been working double shifts just to make rent, her apron slightly frayed, her sneakers worn thin. Yet, her heart softened as she watched the scene. She knew that sound, hungry cries, tired cries. She had heard them many nights caring for her younger siblings when her single mother worked late. The other customers began to murmur, some rolling their eyes in irritation. Daniel's jaw tightened. The powerful CEO, used to commanding boardrooms, felt helpless under their judgmental stares. And then Emily did the unthinkable. She walked over. "Excuse me," she said gently, crouching near the stroller. "May I try?" Daniel blinked, startled. He wasn't used to strangers offering help, let alone a waitress. I don't think," he stammered. But Lily reached out, as if answering for him. With surprising trust, the baby clutched Emily's finger. Emily smiled softly. "Shoo, hey there, sweetheart," she whispered, lifting Lily carefully into her arms. She swayed instinctively, humming a lullaby her mother used to sing. Within moments, the cries quieted into hiccuped whimpers, then silence. The entire cafe seemed to hold its breath. Daniel's eyes widened as his daughter nestled peacefully against the waitress's chest. For the first time in hours, she slept. The tension dissolved into warm murmurs of surprise. A few customers even clapped softly. Daniel exhaled, running a hand over his face. I don't even know what to say. She hasn't stopped crying all morning." Emily gave a modest shrug. "Babies don't need much. Sometimes, just a little patience and warmth." But what Daniel didn't know was that Emily had skipped breakfast that morning so her younger brother could eat. She knew what it felt like to give, even when you had nothing. Something in her humility struck him deeper than any business deal ever had. As Lily slept, Daniel sat down, watching Emily. They began to talk. Not about profits or headlines, but about family, struggles, and sacrifices. For the first time in years, Daniel opened up, how he lost his wife during childbirth, how he had thrown himself into work, terrified of failing as a father. Emily listened quietly, her eyes full of empathy. She didn't judge. She didn't flatter. She simply understood. By the time Lily stirred awake, Daniel's heart had shifted. He realized something profound. All the wealth in the world couldn't buy the kindness that Emily had given so freely. When his driver arrived, Daniel stood, adjusting his cufflinks. But before leaving, he handed Emily a small folded note. "You've reminded me of something I'd forgotten," he said quietly. "That humanity still matters. Thank you." Later, during her break, Emily opened the note. Inside wasn't money, but a simple message and a business card. "I'm opening a foundation for single parents and struggling families. I'd like you to be part of it. People like you are exactly who the world needs more of." Tears welled in her eyes. For the first time in a long while, Emily felt seen, not as a waitress, not as someone barely scraping by, but as someone whose kindness had value. That night, as she recounted the story to her little brother, she ended with a smile. "Sometimes," she said, "the smallest act of compassion can change not just a moment, but an entire future." And across the city, Daniel looked down at his sleeping daughter, whispering, "Because of her, we're going to build something that matters."